you're well. Can I see a thumbs up? Meron ba ditong thumbs up nga pala? If you're
Yeah,
still
yeah.
there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
okay, okay.
thumbs up
Sige, ayan.
please. Ayan, may mga nagta-thumbs
Ayan,
up.
thank you. No? So when Chad actually invited me, actually I did not hesitate and I said yes. No? So I think this is also one of the many ways by which we can also share something so that those bitter experiences siguro na meron tayo in the past might not be experienced, no? Because they have already learned from us. No? So not that I am expert in this, but what I can share are my experiences and basically how I did the paper in relation to dissertation writing. No? So please feel free to butt in just in case you have questions or anything that enters your mind at whatever juncture it is. No? So let me begin by showing you the title of my dissertation. No? So saktong-sakto actually kasi kanina I was already in. No, and I think I already some of you might have already seen me, no? But suddenly nawalan ako ng internet. No, I don't know, no, for whatever reason, but I was gone, no? And this is actually a classic example, no, a reality as far as actor network theory is concerned, no? That in any way, in a way, no, even if we have already prepared, for example, di ba? Even if we're already here, but the non-human actants, in this case, like the internet, actually enabled or disabled my participation in this sharing and learning. No? So in a way, this is actually theoretical and practical at the same time. So again, I was looking into micropolitics of policy appropriation. No? The idea of micropolitics has something to do with power relations. No? Politics definitely is more of a power. Micro are construed as everyday, no, na mga forms of demonstration or forms or demonstrations of power. No? And what I am trying to suggest here is that in policy, and in the appropriation, meaning the taking of policy, the using and implementing of policy, there's always power that is involved. No, so this is not necessarily just a top-down approach in which, for example, those who are formulating the policy and trying to implement it to the ground or on the ground has everything. No, because definitely it is not um it is not that way. No, there are a lot of things. It's very messy. No, so the idea of policy itself is actually very messy, and you can find that in a lot of literature. So yung dissertation ko kasi ang parang pinaka-background nito, for one, I am from the social sciences, no, not necessarily from education. I'm from the social sciences, particularly in politics side. So that's why I'm very much interested with politics because or power and power relations. It just so happened that I bumped on this particular theory. And this is also what uh, many of our professors, no? So I think Chad can attest to that, particularly si Dr. Abaya, no? Dr. Abuso, trying to look into the details, no? Because this is definitely what Andro is about, di ba? We are not just looking at the bigger picture, but definitely we're looking at how things are done or probably what exactly is happening on micro scale, no, that's precisely is the reason. So during that time kasi ano to pre-pandemic na nag-pandemic na, no, so I think we're familiar, no, to the recent pandemic in which we are actually led to change the way we do things, no, in almost all facets of human life, including actually of education. No? So there are lots of initiatives of shifting the way we do learning or teaching. At yung mode pa lang is a classic example of how this change has affected lots of us. No? So lahat tayo, yung ating mga schools, wherever you come from, meron tayong mga policies, no, on the use of digital technology and education. That is very, very clear. Even actually before the pandemic hits the world. No? So, yung aking site, actually, baliktad lang to ng PU kasi I am from UP. Pamantasang Uliran. But actually, it's in Lasal, no? So, medyo maganda yung pagpili ko ng site ko, no? Though, of course, may mga questions dito. Kasi ang isang question dyan sa ethnography, if you're trying to study or to learn from a thing or a situation or a phenomenon or a locale that you are so familiar with, chances are you won't be able to unearth things that are construed as so common na sa'yo, no? So actually, when I was trying to propose this, of course that's a valid thing, di ba? Kasi di ba pag sinabi natin we're doing some ethnography kasi parang ethnography is definitely a process, no? It's not just an output, no? So we're trying to unearth a lot of things, no? What exactly is the meaning? At kapag very familiar tayo, baka, no, ang danger dito, we won't be able to see things na that other persons or people not accustomed to it might be able to see. So that's the danger. No? But anyway, this was approved because of course there are a lot of arguments then that merit no the choice of the local. So siguro when you're doing ethnography or microethnography, I think the choice of local is crucial no in that a crucial thing that you need to consider. However, since my dissertation is evolving more on the concept of policy, no? Anthropology of policy literatures also suggest that the local in AOP studies is not necessarily just limited to a physical space, no? Because policy itself is construed as a local actually, no? So there are a lot of literatures that looked into that. So my site is PU, Pamantasang Uliran, again telling us another experience din siguro in doing ethnography, no? Na at some point we might need actually to mask things, no? Not just respondents, but even local, no? So as not to bring harm, di ba? Ethical consideration din yun, no? So this is exactly why I'm choosing this topic of mine. So as I was saying earlier, um, there are two theories that actually inform the conduct of my study, no? The first theory is the one on anthropology of policy. So si Ched kanina, Ched provided me with two readings actually, no? Anthropology of policy or policy in practice or sociocultural practice, and the one on actor network theory. No, these two theories suggest few things, and siguro I'll try to show or demonstrate how I use it. No, by first defining or getting the very gist of these two theories. No, the first theory is AOP or anthropology of policy. So anthropology of policy puts premium on experience actually, on the socio-cultural dimension of a certain policy. No? So policy is sometimes construed as a tool, di ba, of power, di ba? Basta't nasa policy, susunod ka. Parang ganun yun eh, no? So, but specifically in this theory, what I took from this is the idea of two things. No, there are two things involved in anthropology and policy. One, the nature of the actors actually. No, this one is construed as authorized policy. So if you have read anthropology of policy in the literature, Sutton, Levinson, no, Holland, no, they were trying to suggest that while there is one authorized policy, the second one, there is also what is construed as non-authorized policy. So yung sinasabi nating authorized policy, ito yung mga formal policy, no? So ito yung halimbawa policy makers, no? Ito yung policy na recognized by the institution. no? So kung halimbawa meron tayong school, may policy dun sa school natin. So that policy is construed as authorized policy, no? At yung authorized policy makers are yung legitimate, quote unquote, no? Official, no? Na mga implementers or policy makers. So siguro sila yung ating mga bossing, sila yung ating mga heads, chairs, no? Administrators basically. So ang tawag natin dyan ay authorized policy and policy makers. On another hand, ang anthropology of policy is suggestive of the second, no? Na hindi ganun ka-explored, no? Ang tawag natin dito ay non-authorized policy. So itong non-authorized policy, this is actually the implementation phase, no? Um, the people on the ground, how they interpret the policy and use this policy at times even to pursue their own interest. No? So siguro you can relate to this, di ba? Minsan may mga policy pero yung mga policy na to, ginagamit natin actually to our advantage, the way we interpret it, because we're pursuing our own interest as well. So it's not just that people are following the policy, people are also implementing the policy or interpreting or reinterpreting the policy, no? So this is why we can say na even those people on the ground, those who are not considered as legitimate na mga policy makers, kasi they are parang just initially construed as implementers lang sila ng policy. They are the ones that actually possess power. No? So yan yung theory behind AOP that I used and deployed in my dissertation. Why? Because if you look at the content of my dissertation, I tried to demonstrate not only the power of those policy makers or those official policy makers. Kasi given na yun eh. But I highlighted more on what happens on the ground. No? Doon sa field. Doon sa paano siya inimplement. Doon sa paano siya ininterpret ng mga tao pursuing their own interest. Hence, power relations yun. The second theory is known as the actor network theory. No? So it's also part of the readings for this session. So there are a lot of things that are, siguro, I would say, points that they're trying to argue against Latour and Callion. Um, however, I'll try. I would like to highlight that while there are critics against actor network theory, we cannot easily dispense the idea of the actor network theory. No? Meaning the actants, no, actors, the actants are not just limited to humans. Often, pag humans, ang tawag natin doon ay actors, no? Pag non-humans ay actants. But nonetheless, there are literatures that suggest that they are both actants, no? Actants in this in a sense that they can affect change, no? So the study of ANT or the theory of ANT by Latour is suggestive of the power of the non-human plants. Katulad nga kanina, di ba? Bigla akong nawala. So just imagine, even if we're here, humans tayo, no question about our sense of agency, pero we are actually disabled or enabled or facilitated or non-facilitated by non-human actants. Kasi kapag halimbawa, no, hindi na restore yung aking internet, di ba? Yung ating supposedly planned, carefully planned by human actors na magkakaroon sa ng sharing ng learning won't happen. No? So this is exactly the argument of Latour, of actor network theory, that even those considered as non-humans, they too share in power. No? Or they too have power. No? So these are the two theories. And I again use these two theories because in my dissertation, I also belabored the idea of finding the power, finding the agency of the non-human actants in the formulation and implementation of policy. Are you still there? Can I see a thumbs up or something? Yeah. So I have lots of slides pero in passing lang naman yung iba, no. I'm trying to highlight lang some of the experiences siguro and some of the theories as I mentioned earlier. So what exactly did I want to find out in my dissertation, no? So based on these theories, no, these theories suggest messiness. These theories suggest then that things are not linear. Hindi pwedeng one affects the other, no? So, kaya if you look at the problem statement, one affects the other in the same way that the other may be able to affect the ones that affected it in the first place, no? That's why in the problem statement, I was trying to look into the micropolitics of policy appropriation, shaping and at the same time being shaped by the practice. Anong ibig sabihin nun, di ba? At times, meron tayong mga policy siguro sa mga schools natin. It doesn't, or sa mga, kung saan man tayo, no? Meron tayong mga policy. But don't you notice that in many instances, the policies actually change, no? Either officially or not officially. Officially meaning talagang nag-revise talaga ng policy because of what exactly is happening on the ground. Di ba? So again, that's very suggestive of the fact that things happening on the ground could actually affect, no, even those things happening up there. No? So this is the reason why I was trying to deconstruct the idea that things are not linear in policy. That what happens on the ground can actually affect, yeah, uh, uh, how policymakers, official policymakers, uh, try to think of the policy that they formulated. No? So this is our main the main question that I was trying to discuss in my dissertation. Specifically, ito yung aking mga research questions, no? Ano yung mga circumstances, meaning the rationale behind, no? This is also part of sociocultural practice, di ba? Kasi if you look at sociocultural practice, we are more interested with the meaning making, no? How do we construe it? How do we understand it? What exactly do we mean by those behaviors or actions that we demonstrate, no? So that's exactly what question number one is. And again, it hinges from theory then, no? Pangalawa, ito na yon, no? In what ways and with what consequences of the actants, both the humans and the non-humans, participated in the micropolitics of policy appropriation? So my argument is policy is not neat. There are lots of areas of contestations, and they are not just limited to human actors because incorporated and participating in power relations are the non-human actors. No? So that's my question. Here's my framework, no? So this is also derived from lots of readings and literature, no? So hindi ko na siguro ang kapal, ang haba siya. Parang isang box yata yung aking readings kasi pinrint ko siya, no? Pumili talaga ako ng printer. Kasi parang mas nahirapan ako magbasa pag pag online, pag nasa screen, no? So I don't know if that's a tip, no? So bumili ako, no? Kasi mura lang naman yung parang ink, di ba? Parang yung ink can parang ilang rim na ang kayang ma-print noon, no? So, siguro tip din yan. So, based on lots of literature that I consulted, I came up with this, no? So, there are stakeholders here, there are structures, there are services. All of these are working together, no? This is my initial framework, no? But ultimately sa dissertation kasi, 'di ba, ano ba ang nagse-separate sa dissertation sa MA o thesis or undergrad? Basically, it's theory building, no? So, in dissertation, kaya nga mas exhaustive siya, mas mahaba ang scope, talagang iiyakan mo talaga siya, no? May nagbe-breakdown pa, naririnig ko to, ko yun. Oo, no? Kasi exhaustive siya, no? And we need to come up with a theory. So this initial framework, there are changes to this, no? And I'll show you later on the framework that I used based on the findings of this study. So initially, ito yung iniisip ko, no? So there's anthropological policy there, no? So meaning we try to analyze policy from the formulation phase up to the implementation phase, no? And then there's also actor network theory. So hindi pa rin naman nawawala, no? Kasi yun naman yung ano, 'di ba, yung academic writing, 'di ba? So even if halimbawa anthropology kami or tayo, no, it doesn't mean that we do not function without something on our mind, no. So we are always informed by certain theories, and this is basically how we come up with this, no. So I try to put the VLE policy at the center because I was siguro initially thinking na nandito yung messiness ng policy and how power, no, kaya sa Venn, 'di ba, may mga points of ano sila ang tawag to, overlaps. These points of overlaps are where we can find policy appropriation or what we call mediation on the part of non-human actants, no? So you can see that in the screen. So again, that framework is derived from theories of AOP, actor network theory, and micropolitics, particularly that of Foucault and Spalding. No? So method, no? Since anthro, we can't really do away with ethnography, and rightfully so, no? Because we won't be able to get information, meaning, deeper meaning, without ethnography. No? So ang ethnography is a process, no? But also as an output, no? So as a process, I use this, or as a tool, I use this to really try to deconstruct what's happening on the ground, particularly on how people appropriate, no, the meaning of policy. No? So that's what ethnography is, based on how I use it in my study, no? Kasi again, our interest is more on the meaning making, no? So how do we make sense of the documents of the policy itself? How do we make sense of the actions of individuals? How do we make sense of the quote unquote power or the demonstration of power of the non-human actants, no? So all of these are infused by meanings, no? So that's basically it. That's the reason why the most appropriate tool, definitely hindi yung mga survey, no? Definitely the most appropriate tool in this particular case is to dig deeper, no? That's why it's ethnography, no? Uh, Gone are the days that ethnography is limited doon sa mga tribes, no? Of course, pwede pa rin naman, no? Pero yung mga modern ethnography ngayon, halimbawa itong anthropology of policy, this is the modern ethnography because technically the site is the policy. And then you have to follow the policy. No? Ang tawag natin dito ay following the policy. Ibig sabihin from the ones that formulated it to those that implement it, no? And whoever that is considered part of the messy process. Kaya ang dami nating kino-consider. Ethnography would be the best way, no? So I did the dissertation relatively longer time, no? Kasi gano'n naman ang dissertation, di ba? Parang minimum 6 months, no? Ang usual ay 1 year talaga yung field work natin, no? Why? Kasi we want to arrive at a point of saturation no? Meaning wala na tayong bagong nalalaman simply because we become so familiar na as to the things that happen on the ground, no? So that's why relatively longer. So from August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. So that's literally 10 months, no? Almost a year, no? Trying to look into the policy. These are my samples, no? I did not have survey, but just interviews, following, etc., etc. So as far as humans na respondents are concerned, I have 28, no? 28 nga ba? 28, no? So I consider teachers, students, administrator, and BLE or LMS provider. Yung mismong provider na may-ari talaga ng company, no? Ng virtual learning environment that we use. It's Neo, no? And we rebrand it in the university as Schoolbook. Okay. So what else, no? That is part of the methodology. The tools that I used, no? Digital ethnography, meaning look at Facebook, ano pa ba? Ano ba mga inano ko? Mga groups, GCs, no? Um, just to look into how do people behave or probably what are their thoughts, etc., etc. No? And my participation, most of the participation is lurking. No? So ito bago, hindi naman siguro bago, pero nasa mga literature to, no, na bago-bago. Lurking. No? Ibig sabihin, bakit ka nagle-lurk? Kasi as much as possible, you want to know things without disrupting things. Yeah. So that's why you're just lurking. So siguro kayo din kung halimbawa hindi kayo mahilig sa Facebook, 'di ba? Parang you want to be abreast of what's happening but you're not really that active because you are letting quote unquote the participants, no? To just be who they are and you are just trying to lurk. Documents review, and of course, interviews both offline and online. And then definitely we need to analyze the data, no? So that's the method part, no? So again, there are several results. I'll highlight lang few things, no? So one question kasi ay, if you remember the question, I'm trying to remember na, no? So circumstances that prompted the university to how do I the university to come up with such policy. So for one, ang results dito, the culture and the history of the university. Yeah. So um, the university, kumbaga parang takes pride in, di ba? On tawag nito, on becoming more modern, no? Trying to be at par with what's happening not just in the Philippines but around the world, trying to start now with virtual learning environment, no? During that time, may K-12 na effects then. So all of this, no? And then yung facilities and even the mantra, no? The mantra ng university. So this form part of the culture actually. And from this, I was able to get some of the reasons why, no? So one, cost effectiveness. The BLE is more user friendly, and of course, the affordances, no? Affordances ay ang teorya na affordances is that may mga bagay na it affords, no? So sorry for using the exact term, meaning it provides, no? It enables. I think that's the best thing, no? So yung school book kasi o yung virtual learning environment ay marami siyang pwedeng possibilities na gawin, no? So these affordances again also demonstrate actor network theory, no? Because it's the non-human actants that actually provide this affordances, no? Without, let's say, feature ng ganito, hindi kayang gawin ng tao, no? So kahit na may sense of agency siya, pero limited siya and defined siya ng non-human actants. So that's affordances, no? Another thing, rationality of policy. If you ask the administrators, ito yung mga parang parang mga tema na mga sinasabi nila, no? There is a far bigger market out there. So we will just be too limited kapag halimbawa tayo nag-online, no? So we need to sink, we need to swim, otherwise we sink because that's the world is right now. And then also the idea of raising the bar of academics. And then siguro yung concept din na a lot has changed na, so we also need to change, no? Kasi there are things that are considered as siguro acceptable na o siguro effective na at this point of time na hindi wala before, no? And then ito pa, no? So ito naman yung mga ilan din, no? At nakakatipid ang school, may mga parents na outside, tapos yung mga estudyante, pinanganak silang may technology na kumakain na sila ng computer, blah, 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 no? And then the university has already invested, so on and so forth. So all of this actually are reasons for the university to come up with, with virtual learning policy. And of course, there are a lot of things, no, that make things messy in the way things are presented. Just a gist, no? By the way, till what time nga pala ako? 7:13 is
Mm,
the time. Tayo
yeah.
pala.
Dapat matapos tayo ng 8 o'clock. So, before
Okay,
8.
okay. Sige. Kaya-kaya. 7:13. So siguro bago mag
Yeah.
7:20 7:30 para pwede pa tayo
Pwede
mag-question. Oo.
mag-Q&A. Yes,
Ayan, ayan.
yes.
Correct,
Okay.
correct. No? Anyway. Sige. So, number two, ito na yung, ito yung pinaka mas makapal na portion ng aking papel. Yung unang papel ko nga, unang draft ko, 400 pages. Dalawa advisor ko by the way, si Dr. Campusan, no, no, na Chansey ng UPB, saka si Dr. Abaya, no. So dalawa yung aking advisor. Medyo mahirap din pala ang dalawa. Anyway, kasi magkaiba no. So unang draft ko 400, mga 430, no. Haba kasi ethnography, no. So anyway, ang assumption ko kasi ng ethnography, thick description Gertz, di ba? So, sabi ni Dr. Abaya sa akin ay hindi na yan uso. So, I had to slash it to half, no? Actually, hindi nga less than half, no? Kasi parang yung total yata ng dissertation ko, yung pinaka-final, yung final, was around 180 yata na pages from 430. So there are a lot of things that I really had to redo, rewrite, no? And that's basically what dissertation writing is. So a piece of advice or a tip, and this is also what I teach to my students, no? Because I handle political research. The key to good writing, no, is rewriting. So that's remember that tip. The key to good writing is rewriting, no? Because you will always find things that would make the write-up or the manuscript better if you keep on reading till the time that you breathe with it, you eat with it, you shower with it, you sleep with it, no? And ultimately, you'll be able to arrive at a much better manuscript, no? Okay, so here's question number two, no? Um, how do we demonstrate yung micropolitics ng policymakers, no? So ito yung ilan sa mga findings ng mga teams natin, no? So one ay through their demonstration of administrative support, no? So they provide legitimate policy, no? So again, based on theory yan, no, ng anthropology of policy. Merong legitimate, ito yung considered as uh, authorized policy, no? So merong official policy. And then micropolitical strategy, no? So basically itong micropolitical strategy ay ano to? How they are able to engage lots of people, no? Through friendships and relations just to impose certain policy. 916. Third, administrative control, no? So what do I mean by administrative control here? Not only that there are passive actions, I term this as passive action because policy in itself is actually a command, di ba? Pag sinabi nating policy yan, ibig sabihin, you are actually being told to do it, do that. No? So that's administrative control, no? So that demonstrates power in itself. The presence of policy. It through a passive action, no, or a command. The other one is more punitive, no? Pag hindi mo ginawa, hindi ka sumunod sa policy, alam mo na, no? May consequence. Mababa, for example, ang ano mo, ang evaluation mo, no? Or hindi ka mapopromote. Or baka talagang ma-penalize ka talaga, no? For insubordination, blah, 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 no? So this is a micropolitical strategy, no? To control and regulate, no? Plus the fact that the university has sa registrar ito eh. Hindi ko la alam, no? Kasi sa UP, wala naman itong mga ganito. Meron kaming checker. No? So may nagmo-monitor kung halimbawa nagkaklase ka online or on-site. No? So these are forms of, di ba, parang panoptic control, no? Na the administration sees everything that you do. That's the reason why at some point, di ba, you become just following it, no? Because you're being monitored, no? So this is again avenues in which the administration or the official policymakers exercise power. However, um, ang sabi nga natin base sa theory, ang power ay hindi lang emanated, no, and also exercised by those on top, by the officials, by the authorized policymakers. Kasi nga, people on the ground, the implementers, demonstrate power as well, no? So sabi ni Levinson and company, ang policy daw is a reified instance of a broad socio-cultural practice, no? Ano kaya ang ibig sabihin no? Reified, no? It means that it's demonstrated in the way people implement, no? Practice, no? So that itself is giving power to the implementers. Because in the first place, the official policy is subject to the interpretation and even implementation of those people on the ground. No? So ang teorya natin dito ay yung tinatawag nating interpretive practice. Mga acts of appropriation. How do you take it? No? How do you take the policy? How do you implement the policy? How do you understand the policy? No? A demonstration of power. Interpretation. Interpretive practice. No? So, kitang-kita yan. No? Kasi they're not just blindly following it. This is the reason why, even if there's one policy, if you noticed, merong different interpretations. Or even those on the ground, no? The way they interpret the policy might be different from the other, let's say, implementer. Kasi nga, it's subjected to interpretation. It's being reified. No? Again, a clear demonstration of power in the hands of people on the ground. It's not linear. It's not just top down. No? It's actually, hindi lang din pwedeng sabihin na bottom up. No? So, ang ina-argue ko naman ay yung nasa baba na seemingly powerless is more powerful. That's what I'm trying to argue in my dissertation. Kasi ang dissertation is an argument, di ba? That's what I'm trying to argue. And the other argument is that even the non-human actants adhering to Latour also exercise power beyond recognition of human actants. Kasi pwede siyang ma-facilitate or ma-disable ng non-human actants. No? So, ito yung ilan sa mga findings. No? Kailangan, it's liberating. Ito yung mga reasons to. Effective siya, convenient, blah, blah, blah. No? So, I will not be talking so much about those things. ito yung mga policy of appropriations o policy appropriations of teachers. So how do they interpret, no? How do they demonstrate power, no? Sa virtual learning environment. So ito, the first one ay teacher influence. So early users and adopters paved the realization of policy and practice. Ano ibig sabihin nito? The very reason why the university has a policy such as this is actually because of the teachers. No? So ibig sabihin, those construed as sabihin nating weaker side of the coin actually was the one who initiated this policy na hindi pa nga lang official. No? Pangalawa, teachers actually have supported the making of this policy because ito nga, no, teachers' personal and instructional practices to get what they wanted. Di ba, merong mga sagot doon kanina na convenient, no? In fact, sinasabi nga ng ilang mga teacher, magandang may ganitong policy kasi pwede tayong nakakapagturo at the same time naglalaba, no? So, so or kung ano ang ginagawa. So it's very convenient, no? So it's actually pushing the interest, no, of the teachers as well, no? And the teachers can also support, no, like nudging the students, etc., etc. So all in all, demonstrate the enormous power and potential of teachers to direct things in implementation part. No? So meron ding control, meron ding fabrication. Ano tong fabrication? No? May teorya din dito sa fabrication. Ang tawag natin dito ay mga performance, no? Performance theory. The way we try to demonstrate it and caught by others. No? Mga performative actions natin yun. Na para, for example, halimbawa to, naalala ko lang, di ba pag nagsisemi-seminar, di ba? Kadalasan, halimbawa, naka-on lang or baka sa klase nangyayari ito. Pero actually, wala naman sila or they're doing other things or they're not really listening. No? Can you say thumbs up if you're listening and if you're here? So ito yung mga fabrication, ito yung mga performative actions, di ba? Pero pag ang teacher nag-check, naandun yung estudyante, no? Pero it's more just performative, no? In which it also demonstrates the power of those who are considered as just attendees, no? So ganun yan, no? So merong impression management, but at the same time, you'll be able to see degrees of resistance, 724, no? No? So ito din may mga resistance. So they're just doing some token accommodation, no? Para lang walang masabi, etc. Susunod na lang, no? So, but in reality, they're showing resistance, which is a demonstration of power. No? At the same time, they also conform, blah 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 blah. So, bottom line is, the students respond differently, and this difference demonstrate the power even of students, teachers, etc., etc. So, non-human actants naman, another theory. Still have 5 more minutes, no? So in this dissertation, I have also demonstrated how non-human actants based on Latour demonstrate power, no? So for example, I listed just few, pero marami pa naman. No? So anyway, yung school book, yung VLE itself. The VLE facilitates the learning process, no? Kasi despite the limitation, kasi hindi naman pwedeng on-site tayo dahil pandemic during that time, but because of this VLE, we are afforded the opportunity for us to reinvent the way we teach, and it's not just limited to face-to-face interaction. The affordances, no, no, if you remembered kanina, no, may mga features, no, so these are providing human actors um to exercise their agency. It's just that it's preconditioned by non-human actants, device and gadgets. May ilang mga features na hindi afforded because of the device used, di ba? So internet, no, tulad kanina, classic example, we won't be able to have this. This will not be afforded without, no, electricity, without internet, blah, 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 blah. So these are just some examples in which, again, ang idea natin dito, kahit hindi sila tao, non-humans sila, but they are able, no? They are able to provide or make a difference in the conduct of humans. Doon sa readings, no? Kung mapapansin ninyo yung sa actor network theory, I think it was with in says, ang definition niya ng concept ng actor network theory, simple. Does it make, ang test pala niya, does it make a difference in human interaction? If the answer is yes, okay, hanapin nyo na lang, basta nandun yun, no? If the answer is yes, it's actually suggestive of the power. Kasi pag sinabi nating power, the ability to change, the ability to make things happen. And this is where non-human actants actually come. So in conclusion, just reiteration tong ginawa ko. But I'd like to focus your attention to the theory, no? So the theory that I um, tawag nito, contributed is the theory of policy assemblage, no? Anong ibig sabihin ng assemblage, no? Um, a lot of things play around, okay, in appropriation of BLE policy. So meron akong changes dun sa initial framework that I used, but still you'll be able to find how AOP, how ANT, how micropolitics, kasi tatlong teorya yung ginamit natin, ano, play in this, no? So this is the summary of the theory that I proposed. VLE policy is an assemblage and a site of micropolitics of appropriation, okay, in which human actants, nasa taas, administrators, teachers, students, and the non-human actants play by facilitating and constraining, no? Kaya if you see, itong authorized policy makers or authorized policy and non-authorized policy, again, anthropology of policy yan, worked hand in hand to come up with VLE policy in which we will be able to see, no, and realize how each of these types of actors play in the formulation of policy in the university. No? So I won't be talking about the recommendations anymore, but just the implication. No? What it meant for policy. Well, policy is generally followed, but its outcome also depended on the practice of policymakers. Again, the idea that policymakers, people on the ground, can affect change. So what about Neo LMS? Ito kasi yung VLA namin, no? Na rebrand lang siya na school book sa university. Meron na siyang much bargaining power, no? To define its standing in UP because we have been with school book na. And it would be very difficult for us to change VLE. So kaya itong Neo LMS have been afforded with so much power na kahit na itaas siguro niya ang presyo ng subscription, the university would not have any other choice. And lastly, and this is where I end, time check, 7:30 exacto. What it meant for VLE. So VLE, therefore, has become the enabler. No? So it becomes an assemblage of power in which, no, it enables the restructuring of institutions in education. What do I mean by that? No, it reconfigures the way we do things in the university because of this BLE policy. It reframes why we teach, what we teach, no, when we teach, how we teach, and it affords fluidity of teachers and student roles. Kasi hindi na lang talagang teacher ang bida dito kasi ang laki din ng play ang role na ginagampanan ng estudyante. Bakit? Because they too possess power. Humans alike in as much as non-humans. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. I hope that you're able to get something from my dissertation and the tips as well. Thank you.
Galing. Thank you, Edwin. Ngayon ko lang naintindihan yung dissertation mo kasi hindi mo na-defense eh. Dati tense na tense din ako parang kipita. Thank you very much. Okay, questions? Ano yung nag-resonate sa inyo? Reactions, questions? mag-isip kayo. Habang nag-iisip kayo, magtanong lang ako.
Oh,
Ah,
sige.
kasi kanina merong talks on, yung growth ng AI, ano?
Oh.
Ang bilis ng growth niya, no? To the point na you can create a teacher assistant, and they can do more, no? So, meron kayang issue yung, ano ba tawag, yung inherent, ano ba, power. Ano yung features ng technology, ano, sa kanyang
Mm.
agency, ano? Kasi syempre, LMS yan. Pero what if AI na siya, ano? Kung
Mm.
sumama na siya. So do you think, ano, mas
Ayun,
gagawin?
sige. Magandang ano na consideration, no? So definitely AI is a technology, no, in which it's construed as a non-human actance, and it makes a difference, di ba? So again, borrowing from Latour, if it makes a difference, then it has power, no? So AI has power. So what's our take on AI, no? So I think we can't do away with AI anymore because it's already there. The same way as globalization, no? We can't go against that, no? Siguro sa part lang siguro ng teachers, because I'll be coming from the teacher side. We need to also assert our power as human agents, no? Meaning ganito. Kasi ang AI, kumbaga parang gets information, no, from lots of algorithm, no, and information, and trying to deduce what it can do. Kaya lang, ang kulang siguro sa AI ay context. Hindi katulad ng tao, kayang makontextualize. Ang AI, diyan sila kulang eh. Oo, may kakulangan. So, we are not against the use of these tools, no? In fact, it may even facilitate, no, and make our lives easy and convenient, no? So, we have to use this tool. So, by using the tool, we actually demonstrate our power. Kasi halimbawa itong mga AI na ito, halimbawa, let's say, mga tawag generative, halimbawa yung ChatGPT, ano ba yung mga ginamit natin, no? So, that's very dependent on on how humans also prompt or command, or what information are humans feeding, no? So, ibig sabihin, we should never let AI to just run its course on itself, no, because definitely they are devoid of context. It would still be humans. Ito yung aking side dito, ano. um we have to assert who we are as humans, no. We do not deny the power of this non-human actants, yet we have to assert our power as human as well, because no one can replace humans. I think kung mga teachers kayo, alam nyo siguro yun, ano. Walang substitute eh. No? But it doesn't mean that we do not use them, because they are there to make our lives better. Siguro yun ang aking take.
Salamat. Okay. So, questions, reaction from the class. Yan.
Parang
So,
malaki pala yung class mo, no?
oo nga, may mga absent pa dyan.
May absent pa to.
Oo nga, katuwa nga, dami interested sa EDF dito. Kaya magturo ka na kasi
Okay.
dito.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
class. Lalo na yung interesado dyan na ano, sa policy. Ano. Okay, Moimin, yes.
Okay. Ay.
Moimin.
Hello, ma'am.
Uh-huh.
Hello, sir. Actually, what I wanted, ayan po. What I wanted to add po is dun sa tanong niyo po with the AI kasi actually yun yung mas naging interesting sa akin nung tinanong niyo po kanina. Uh, I think maganda yung banggit ni sir. Lalo na with the generative AI regarding the contents na mayroon sila. That's actually true. That's actually true na whatever the content, most of it contents depend on its users talaga. And I
Mhm.
think another thing that I wanted to add din po is that AI can be program rin naman po kasi at the end of the day. So it can be program kung paano siya sumagot, kung
Mhm.
ano ang kailangan niya sagutin, or ano yung gusto nating isagot niya sa mga user.
Correct. Mhm. Yeah, tama yun actually, no. So again, demonstrative of the fact that humans power. Kasi creation niya lang itong ano itong tool na ito, itong AI na to. No? Ah,
I think ang tendency
garbage
is
in, garbage out lang ang ang tawag nito, itong mga AI na to. Parang may nag-message. Let me check. Ano to? Ah,
kasi iba na
that's
yung
the difficulty with today's generation. They like the convenience of AI, which causes them to be dependent. Ayan, totoo ito, no? They become lazy and don't want to do the work themselves anymore. Actually, ito ay sad reality, no? Kaya, I don't know, no? Sa pagsusulat, medyo hirap na nga yan sila eh. Pero ang gaganda ng mga output nila because
oo nga eh.
pero pag sulatin mo ng actual, iba na eh. Hindi na sila makapagsulat pag
Kaya yung class ko talagang ano eh, balik kami sa Blue Book. Kasi nami-miss ko na mababasa yung totoong sulat nila. Parang
ayo.
pare-pareho na yung tunog. Ganyan. Sige, may tanong pa, no? Ayaw niyo magtanong, ako
Sige.
tanong. Kasi nga dahil, nasa admin ka, no? Parang si Peter din,
Oo.
nag-director ka ng research, and then ngayon. And then knowing all these things, ano yung implication sa iyo, ano? As an administrator, as an education leader, no? Lalo na yung, kaya na yung sinabi mo, yung fabrication, ano?
Mm-mm.
So, ayan, sige.
Oo. So siguro as administrator, in fact sa university we come up with a policy. And UP I think was the first one who crafted AI policy. And siguro one of the things no, na meron sa AI policy namin is the recognition that AI really exists. No? So as administrators, we cannot, I think policy-wise, we cannot say that, and siguro sabihin natin sa mga estudyante na huwag gumamit. No? So all the more nagagamit yan pag sinabi mong huwag gagamit kasi mag-exercise siya ng power eh. So, siguro dapat ma-contextualize lang yung paggamit ng AI, no? So, and we would like to emphasize as administrators what it can do to help but not necessarily replace us. So, I think that's the key principle. It should help, but it should not replace. Meaning, it should not do everything for us that we still assert who we are as teachers, as administrators, as students. Kasi, tawag nito, ayun nga, parang when we lose that, no, we lose our sense of humanity kasi. So, I think that's very important. And nothing can be equal to humans in that regard. So, we just use it as a tool. In the same way as, hindi mo pwedeng sabihin wag gumamit ng kutsilyo, no? Pero, gamitin mo yung kutsilyo that would be beneficial to you, no? Meaning may proper na paggamit, no? Kung saan dapat gamitin, saan dalhin. So in the same way as this tool na it's not a thing that should be used to destroy us,
So,
but rather should make things better for us.
parang ano pa rin siya, no? Yun nga, part ng tools, parang craft.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Sabi
mean,
dito na, what happens when AI takes over book development? Kagaya ng
isang kaibigan.
mukhang yun ang gumawa ng libro ni ano, no?
Ay, ganun ba? So what happens when AI takes over book
Yeah, they
development?
can, di ba?
Siguro,
Kaya,
oh,
no?
they can, pero walang context, maaring walang emotion, no? So kasi di tao eh, no? I think it would still be best that this should be done by humans. Iba rin eh, iba yung iba yung ano yun, depth siguro. Kasi 'di ba pag AI ano eh kahit maayos yung prompting mo, parang meron siyang ano ba, generic na mga answers or very generalized answers, no? So I think mahirap, no? So what happens, magiging mahirap and magiging hindi contextualized, kulang, no?
Yeah. Yeah,
Agree
Melvin,
po. Ay, sige.
yeah, yan din. Si Melvin yung nagtanong eh. He's raising his hands. So,
Mm.
Melvin, you have follow-up doon sa sinulat mo.
Okay.
Ayun. Good evening po. I'm coming at this from the perspective of an artist naman.
Mhm.
Fine art siya.
I I was
Okay.
one I may job akong pinapakiusap sa akin na isang kaibigan. Um they are tasked to create textbooks. Ito yung ano ko talaga. Ano ko diyan, ang hugot ko diyan. They were tasked to create textbooks and DepEd was very very anong tawag dito? I don't know kung merong policy on AI doon, no? Pero
Mhm.
ang kanila ay meron silang parang maraming books to create for a very short period of time. So AI ang
Okay.
gagamitin nila for artworks. Now the
Mhm.
problem here is kung hindi nag-research ang gumawa ng AI doon sa mga artworks, and it was very hard, very heavy artwork, so mga TLE subjects and science. There are things na isespew ng AI na hindi tama kung hindi titignan ng or hindi
Yes.
i-research. Unfortunately, yung mga I can't say for the others na tinask nito kasi hindi naman sila, I think, they are layout artists. They are not really researching on what they will put there. So I'm looking at this and the danger of, again, yung agents ay yung pagkakaroon ng actant kasi ang textbook for power, and if mali yun, everything is, alam niyo yun, I mean, dangerous for me,
Yeah.
I think, parang ganon. I would like to ask your view on this.
Ayan. So, eto, in exegesis of time, kasi nga, kulang ang oras, maraming gagawin, no? So, pag tao talaga medyo matagal, no? Ibang artist kasi mag-iisip pa yan, no? So, gagawa yan, magdodraw yan, ano, or something, no? So, matagal talaga, no? So, siguro yung sabi mo nga, yung DepEd ba ay mag-i-AI na. Pero maraming mga issues diyan, no? Yung unang issue diyan ay yung issue ng who owns it, di ba? Sino ba ang gumawa nun, no? Ownership, isa sa mga issue yan sa mga generation ng mga ganun. No? Can you say that it's yours as an artist even if you're the one who made that? Na pinagawa mo naman sa robot or sa AI, no? Pangalawa, yung konsepto ng pagiging art o ng art ba talaga yun, no? Kasi kahit sino pwede namang mag-drawing, di ba? Lalo yung sa iPhone ngayon, memoji, mga ganun-ganun. Di ba? Everybody can create, no? So, parang nasa na yung parang artistic value din, no? So, I think those two are parang issues sa mga ganun, no? Pangatlo pa, kasi 'di ba ang AI nga parang just takes everything from whatever information, no? So baka no, ang fear natin diyan ay hindi talaga niya ma-depict kung ano talaga ang gustong i-depict noong mga pictures or whatever art or drawings that should be there, no? Though, ang kagandahan naman nito, 'di ba mas maganda or cute pag AI? Oo. Pero I think mas valuable yung human work, 'di ba? Kasi ang AI, anybody can do that, no? Even if hindi talaga siya artist, no? Pero kapag tao, 'di ba? Not everyone can do that. That's why the value of those that are produced by real artist by hand, iniisip niya, mas mahal 'yon, no? Plus, it takes time din kasi. Hindi katulad ng AI, in just seconds, pwede ka na mag-create ng picture, ng drawing. Di ba? Pero
Yes.
yung value nun, yung worth nun, no? Um, the more na mas kokonti ang nakakagawa nun, rule ng economics yan, ano? Mas malaki ang value nun. Kaya parang itong mga AI, uh, riding on that argument, mababa value nun.
Pero gumagaling sila. No? Like sabi
Mabilis.
niya, Sabi nga kanina, yung
Mabilis lang.
25,000 man-hours, kayang gawin in 11 minutes.
Yeah, totoo yan.
So, kailangan ng
Ah,
Suppose, gusto ko lang dagdagan before we go to the next. Yung kung nag-chat GPT, gumagamit ako, kung tanungin ko, please, qualify what you said or clarify what you said based on Asian or Philippine context or the context of a developing economy. Ibang-iba yung sagot niya, no? So yun pala, meron siyang bias sa West, ano? Kaya kung nagtanong ka ng any question sa chat GPT, i-classify mo na please give me information na contextualize sa Asia or Philippines or developing country or multilingual country, ganyan, no? Para nagbibigay siya ng mas tama. Otherwise, pang American or pang West. Before we go to Ran, dito, no, sabi lang ni Angelo, agree po, everything that's too much can be destructive, especially in the context of AI. We need to better understand how to use properly. Okay, thank
correct.
you. Ran? Yes, Ran.
Yes po, Teacher Ched. Magandang gabi po, Sir Edwin.
Magandang gabi.
Ako po, ang reflection ko po dito yung tinitingnan ko po yung conceptual framework ng presentation. Naalala ko po di ba po yung policy, nasa gitna siya, tapos affected siya ng human and non-human actants. Tapos, nakaback siya sa culture and history as context. Tapos yung panlabas is yung macro-political backdrop. So, naalala ko yung kagaya ng mga policies like MTBMLE o kaya yung national policy ng provincial rate, yung mga gano'n na affected rin siya. Kung sila yung nasa gitna, affected sila nung
Yes.
human and non-human actants and yung school. So na-imagine ko, paano po kaya, sir, yung babasagin tong macro-political na to? Kasi parang napaka-powerful niya na kinakahon niya eh. Parang siya yung tawag nito, yung factor na nagiging dahilan kung bakit hindi nagiging parang hindi nagiging favorable sa mga human actants yung policy. Ayun po. Sana na-frame ko yung question ko. Salamat po.
Totoo yun, ano? Yung macro-political backdrop natin ay very powerful. So, paano ba siya basagin or how do we change, no? Definitely things can be changed, no? It's just that there are things that are harder to change or longer to change. Nonetheless, kumbaga parang it can be changed, no? Wala kasing permanent eh, no? So, halimbawa, yung globalization, for sure, mababago din yan sometime. Let me answer that by sharing story, no? Are you familiar with Barbie? Barbie dolls? Okay. At some point, yung mga Barbie dolls ay pinag-ban nito sa Germany saka sa ilang parts ng Amerika. And you know the reason why? May nakakaalam ba? Bakit ba to binan? Binan, tama ba yun? English, Tagalog. Bakit ba ito naban? No? So, kasi di ba, ano ba ang Barbie, di ba? Parang Barbie doll is a concept of beauty. What's beautiful? Yeah, what's beautiful. And di ba ang Barbie doll ay ano siya, matangkad, blonde, ano yun, sexy kumbaga, quote unquote. I'll use the term, no? Ano siya, balingkinitan ba ang tawag natin doon, no? Oo. Ay, ang problema, marami sa ilang parts ng US at Germany ay they are malalaki sila, no? So, dumating yung point na marami yung mga nagpakamatay. Kasi nga, they're not able to get into the figure of Barbie na yun yung konsepto ng beautiful. So, bakit yan yung sagot ko, no? For example, kasi yung concept ng beauty, that's creation ng tao eh, ng society. Di ba? But the creation of the tao also affects the way they think. Yeah. Kaya ngayon, if you look at the Barbie, medyo inclusive ng Barbie, no? Or yung konsepto ng beauty, may itim na, 'di ba? May maliit na, no? So hindi na siya ano. So ibig sabihin it's a recreation, no? Brought by how people also interpret the concept, no? So again, how do I relate that to the question? So the things that are guiding us macro politically can also be changed. It's just that it might be relatively difficult. So the way we do and how we do things on our own little way may ultimately siguro after 100 or 500 years be able to contribute the way things will be changing in the society. Ganun naman ang culture, di ba? Konsepto kasi ng culture, ang culture ay ano yan, while it's stable, it's dynamic. Di ba? So yun yung parang paradox. So stable kasi parang pwede talaga siyang pangmatagalan. However, nababago siya eh. Kaya lang, you will only be able to see the change if you look at the grander picture and a longer period of time. Di ba? But it changed and it can be changed. Culture, no? So, the same way as those parang I would say macro political na mga concepts can also change. I just don't know when, but surely it would take time.
Thank you, Edwin. Marie was raising her hand. Marie, yes.
Sure.
Ay, hello po, sir. Actually, wala naman po akong question. It's more of, natutuwa po ako kasi I think very timely po ito for myself kasi I've been thinking of what to do for yung mini ethnography po namin dito sa class. And what really was interesting to me, and I guess Teacher Ched, ano po, preview na po to ng consultation ko. Kasi I'm also interested in standardization in curriculum, pero ako po ay nasa higher ed. And yung access ko po sa educators ngayon ay more on higher education teachers. And what I found interesting kasi since I have a really close friend na nagtatrabaho siya sa NU, and yung acquisition po kasi ng SM of an educational institution, and how that kind of capitalism and standardization also affects their teaching philosophy, yung mga mission and vision po na nila, and parang multiple layers po siya of standardization kasi yung friend ko po is nasa architecture, and sa kanila yung design nila very standardized daw talaga even back in their UP days. So that's what I'm interested to look at, and na-spark lang po yung interest ko kasi na yung key phrase na micropolitics of policy appropriation, kasi I think it also relates to agency and how
Yes.
teachers, I guess teachers and students kind of react to that. So, ang iniisip ko po since kanina pa is there are probably different ways that we can view agency. It's not, yun nga po, parang it's not always resistance. It's how they adapt to the situation.
Yeah.
It's more of how they respond to the situations, that they're not just passive. So, minsan po kasi 'di ba like
Yes.
yung basic understanding po natin ng agency is always they have to do something about it in a major or in a grand way, but it doesn't necessarily always have to be like that. Like po yung sa results din po ng PhD nyo na natutuwa po yung ibang teachers na they have this VLE policy kasi they can do other things while working. So I think that's also a form of agency din po kasi they kind of
Yes.
find a way to make this advantageous to them or see it in a different light that's not necessarily gaslighting but still advantageous to them po. So, I think marami po akong pwedeng makuha dito na parang tumatakbo na yung utak ko kasi parang pag malawakang research na siya, pwede na rin siyang PhD topic. Pero, ayun po. So, super thank you po sa mga insights niyo today.
Sure. Welcome.
Thank you, Edwin. So, Edwin, when you analyze yung data mo, madali ba? Kasi di ba yun ang pinakamahirap, you have interviews.
Short answer?
Sige nga,
No.
lang.
Sige.
Then
Actually,
ideas
yun ang
how-
pinaka-problema ng ethnography, no? You'll be able to get welter collection of a lot of things from documents, Transcripts pa pala, no? So I chose to have mine transcribed kasi I was able to get 50,000 naman from Commission on Higher Education, no? So by the way, pag pumasa din pala ang proposal ninyo, pwede kayong manghingi, no? At marami pang ibang pwedeng panghingan ng pondo. So kaya matapang ako na magpa-transcribe. So sa transcription pa lang, mga 32,000, 35,000 yata yung nagastos ko. But anyway, may funder naman, no? So, I had to transcribe ng siguro ilang hours ng interview. Ang difficulty is, how do I make sense, di ba?
Yeah.
Of the so many papers, siguro yung papel, I think mga apat na ano yata na pag pinagpatong-patong mo mga apat na ruler for
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 fit.
feet. Oo. Sa dami, no? So how do I kasi ang sagot doon ay hirap, no? Napakahirap talaga. Kasi ako I also am into quantitative research, no? So napakadali ng quantitative research. Marunong din ako ng stats, so okay siya. Napakahirap talaga. So napakahirap i-analyze. So ang tip ko lang siguro ay one at a time. For example, I start with, let's say, interview. So, yung mga interview na muna. And siguro yung tip ko, I think was okay pa rin yung nakatranscribe. At the same time, nagno-notes ako during the time ng interview para nababangga ako and then naalala ko kaagad. So, and then, mas maganda that we work on it at the soonest time. Kasi napansin ko, yung mga bandang huli ko na na ina-analyze na interview, medyo nahihirapan na ako kasi kahit na may notes ako, pero parang sa tagal na, di ba? Parang hirap. So, tip siguro, piece of advice, work on it at the soonest possible time, lalo na yung interview. Okay lang yung mga naka-text, no? So, how do I analyze? So, sa interview, meron ako mga highlight, tapos I always am guided by the research question. For example, I'm looking at the reasons why they are into BLE, student, teachers alike, or administrators. So when I try to scar through and read, no, so yun yung mga tinitingnan ko. And then may mga ano ako highlighter, ano ba yun? May mga ano para alam ko na halimbawa ito ay RQ yan para pag binrowse mo. So I think that's the good way. Kasi for one, parang hindi ako ganun kakomportableng gumamit ng mga tool. Ano
Mm-mm.
yung mga ginagamit natin, hindi ko na maalala. In vivo, mga ganun, no? So
Ah.
medyo hindi ako ganun komportable. So old school. Old school ako, no? So one at a time. One at a time. No? So interview. And then yung mga papers, mga policy. So ganun din, may mga highlights din ako. So I think yun yung napakahirap na gawin. Pero matagal, mahirap, masakit sa ulo. Pero ang maganda dito, may mga times na umaabot ka sa ano kapag in the zone ka, na kahit na hindi ka na naliligo o kumakain, hindi mo nararamdaman na hindi ka naligo o hindi ka kumain because you just want to get things done and over with. You are in the zone eh. Nobody can bother you. You will become more productive. Yun yung mga gift sa pagsusulat.
Ah.
Oo, kapag nasa in the zone ka na. Kaya napaka-importante ng momentum eh. No,
Mhm.
pag nasa momentum ka talagang you really have to seize it. Kasi minsan ang hirap mahanap yung momentum na yun. Na it takes you halimbawa, parang 2 oras na akong nakatitig dito sa computer ko. Ni isang word wala akong masulat. Darating yung point na gayon. Kaya kapag meron ka mga gift, mga moments, seize the day, strike while the iron is hot. And then you'll be able to realize that things will be relatively easier na. Kasi you're already in the zone. You breathe with it, you eat with it nga. Napapaniginipan mo na. Ang ganda ng ganun. Mangyayari yan sa inyo.
Oo, yan. Tip na sa mga magti-thesis and dissertation. At yung mga na CPE, mag-MA na kayo. No? Kaya ko lang natanong kasi kayo na tinatanong ni Marie. Parang ang dali-dali ng sabihin yung mga analysis sa agency, for example. Pero before mo na-produce yun,
Oh, yeah.
talagang napakahirap. Kasi hindi naman siya obvious at first, di ba?
Mm.
Kailangan talaga
Madali
ng...
ang description, but when you try to analyze na, ang hirap na. Describe madali, no? So, by the way, nung nagsusulat pala ako, description is the first thing that I did kasi that's relatively easier. All you need to do is just to remember how things through, etc. And then you just describe it because that's definitely ethnography. But of course, ethnography is not just simple description, di ba? It's the analysis that actually makes things worthwhile or makes things what it should really be. And it's really that difficult. That's the answer.
Okay, with that, magpapasalamat ulit tayo. Thank you, Dr. Edwin Lenices, for
Sure.
sharing not just yung findings mo, but your experiences, ano? At talagang you made it sound na talagang very exciting, although mahirap maggawa ng research. And I'm sure marami ko ang ginagawang research ngayon. Alam niyo naman sa HEI, walang katapusang research. But